Hello and welcome to direct and indirect speech part B. So I hope you are ready, and I hope part A was interesting. So let's get started. You see, when we say how are you, now this is before having the examples. For example, how are you? So when in the indirect speech, we are not going to use how are you. You should expect how you are, not how are you. So here we have how are you. In the indirect speech, you expect how you are. How is she? How is he? Or how is she? So here that is the direct speech. In the indirect speech, you expect how he is or how she is. How he is or how she is. Who are you? We expect who you are. Who you are. What are you doing? What are you doing? You expect what you are doing. What you are doing. You see, here is not a question. Where are they going? Where are they going? So you expect where they are going. Where they are going. Is she fine? Is she fine? You expect if she is fine. If she is fine, or whether she is fine. Whether she is fine. Do not get confused. We'll have examples, but you also remember that. You see, how are you? The are in the indirect speech, what it usually becomes, or what usually happens, is that are becomes were. So we say how you were. How you were. Do not forget that, please. So how is he or how is she is usually becomes what was. So you say how he was or how she was. Who are you? The same are. So that is were. Then so that means we say who you were. Who you were. What are you doing? So the are were again. What you were doing. What you were doing. Where are they going? You say where they were going. Where they were going. Is she fine? You remember is usually becomes was. So we say if she was fine. If she was fine, or whether she was fine. Don't worry, we'll have the examples. This is a table to help you remember before we start having the examples. Now this thing of changing are or are becoming were, is becoming was. That is what is called, or the name is back shift. Back shift. That is what it means. So the are becoming were, is becoming was, am becoming was, has been becoming had, been, and the rest, if you remember. So that is what we call back shift. Back shift. Good. So now let's start having the examples. Our first example says, he asked, who are you? That means speaking to me. So he asked, who are you? So when reporting that, using the indirect speech, I say, he asked me who I was. Who I was. He asked me who I was. She asked, who is he? Who is he? The indirect speech, I say, she asked, he asked, she asked who he was. She asked who he was. You see, there it is a question, who is he? But here it is not a question. Who he was. I remember the back shifts, is becoming was, are becoming were. But here, since it is me, I say I am becomes I was. Don't forget that, and do not get confused. I asked, what does she want? What does she want? So the indirect speech, I say, I asked what she wanted. What she wanted. John asked, what is the time? What is the time? So the indirect speech, it becomes, John asked what the time was. You remember, is becomes was. So what is the time? Now in the indirect speech, we say what the time was. John asked what the time was. What do you like? You asked. Now in the indirect speech, we say you asked what I liked. Because when you said what you like, you are speaking to me. So that is why we have, or we say it is, or becomes, you asked what I liked. What I liked. John asked, is she alright? Is she alright? Now, in the indirect speech, you say, you see this type of a question, you use yes or no when responding. So this type, we use if or whether. If you use if, it is correct. If you use whether to, it is correct. So I say John asked if she was alright, or John asked whether she was alright. Good. Are you happy? He asked. Are you happy? He asked. In the indirect speech, you say he asked whether we were happy. So you see here, are you happy? It's not me. I mean, not talking to me, but talking to what? Talking to us. Talking to us. That is why it is. He asked whether we were happy. We were happy. And you remember that it is correct too to say he asked if we were happy. But you see, if for example, if it was, are you happy? He asked. I mean, speaking to me, I would say he asked if I was happy, or he asked whether I was happy. Good. Mary asked, is John coming to the party? You see here when you respond, you're going to use yes or no. So here too, we say Mary asked whether John was coming to the party. You remember, you can use Mary asked if John was coming to the party. So Mary asked, is John coming to the party? Becomes Mary asked whether John was coming to the party, or Mary asked if John was coming to the party. Is he a teacher? We asked. Is he a teacher? We asked. So the indirect speech, it becomes, we asked if he was a teacher. We asked if he was a teacher. Or, you remember, we asked whether he was a teacher. We asked whether he was a teacher. Good. Can you teach? He asked. Can you teach? He asked. So here the can you teach is me speaking to me. He asked if I could teach. He asked if I could teach. Or he asked whether I could teach. He asked whether I could teach. Remember, can becomes could. Good. So here we are talking about imperatives. For example, we have, he said, go out, go out, go out. Now, when in the indirect speech, we say, he told me to go out. He told me to go out. He told me to go out. But if it is, he said, don't go out, don't go out. In the indirect speech, it becomes, he told me not to go out, since he was speaking to me. He told me not to go out. He told me not to go out. Another example, she said, wash your hands, wash your hands. Speaking to me. So you say, she told me to wash my hands, to wash my hands. But if it is, she said, don't wash your hands, it becomes, she told me not to wash my hands. Mom said, sweep the room, sweep the room. It becomes, mom told me, since she was speaking, she spoke to me, or she was speaking to me. Mom told me to sweep the room, to sweep the room. But if it is, mom said, don't sweep the room, don't sweep the room, it becomes, mom told me not to sweep the room, not to sweep the room. The last example here, Ali said, obey your parents, obey your parents. So it becomes, Ali told me, since he was speaking to me. So it becomes, Ali told me to obey my parents, to obey my parents. This is not difficult, right? But you should know that it is not, when it comes to imperatives, it is not only told that is used. It is not only told that is used. Good. Now, this example says that I said my mother loves me. My mother loves me. You know that this type of an example, or this, what I mean is that it's not just noun. This is simple present tense. It is about yesterday, today, tomorrow. So you remember that what you are used to, or what we've done is, for example, if we report, we say, I said that my mother loved me. That is what we have done. Or when we have examples that are like this, this is what we do. So for a sentence that is like this, I mean, it is still true that my mother loves me. We do not have to use this form that says, I said that my mother loved me. We do not have to do that. So I can use, I said that my mother loves me, because it is still true that she loves me. So I said that my mother loved me is correct. I said that my mother loves me too is correct. So an example that is like this, you don't have to use that. You don't have to use the one that you change the verb. For example, loves to loved. I mean, something like that. Let's have another example. She said, he is your father. He is your father. You see that he is your father is still true. So if you use or say, she said that he was my father, speaking to me. She said that he was my father. This is correct. You see, the is now was. But he is your father, since it is still true, it's correct to say, she said that he is my father. He is my father. Like here again, he said, I take care of my children. I take care of my children. Since it is still true that I take care of my children, if I say, he said, he took, talking about me, he said he took care of his children. So you see, changing the take now is took. This is correct. But since it is still true that I take care of my children, I can say, he said he takes care of his children. He takes care of his children, because it is still true. So using he said he took care of, we don't have to use or say he said he took care of his children. So do not get confused if you see a reported speech that is like this. Now you know the reason. Another example, he said monkeys climb trees. Yeah, it is still true that monkeys climb trees, right? So I do not have to use he said monkeys climbed trees. You remember, it is correct, but I do not have to use it. He said monkeys climbed trees. So I can say he said monkeys climb trees. Let's have the last example. I said people love money. People love money. It is still true that people love money. So I do not have to use I said people loved money. Um, I can use I said people love money. So you can think of more examples. Do not always think that if you see I said or he said, she said, uh, you do not think that the verb will remain or remains how it was. I mean, do not think that you will always see is becoming was, are becoming were, or for example here that we've got I take becoming I took or he took when you report. So please do not, I hope you are not confused. Now, since you know that it is correct to say he said his mother loves him. His mother loves him. I mean, not his mother loved him, since it is still true that his mother loves him. So you know that, you do know that. Now, it is also correct to use or to hear. I mean, it is not wrong if you hear someone say, he says his mother loves him. His mother loves him. Since it is still true that his mother loves him, so now you see the said is says. I mean, maybe you expect said, but you hear says. Why? Because it is still true that his mother loves him. This is why you see he says his mother loves him. Like here, she said, he is my father. You don't have to use he said he was my father. You remember that. So, and again, since it is still true that he is my father, I mean, talking about the sentence, he is my father, I can use she says he is my father, since it is still true. John said he takes care of his children, since it is still true that he takes care of his children. I can use John says he takes care of his children. But remember, it is correct to use John said he took care of his children. Good. Mary said monkeys climb trees. Since it is something that is still true, I can say Mary says monkeys climb trees. But you remember again, Mary said monkeys climbed trees when you report. That too is correct. He told me people like money. You know, it is correct to use he told me people liked money. So since it is still true that people like money, I can use he tells me people like money, like instead of liked. The last example, it says she told me she likes me. So since it is still true that she likes me, I can say she tells me she likes me. I hope you are not confused. So you should be able to remember or to expect or to not get confused if you hear someone say He tells me he loves me, or she says to me she says she loves me. She says she loves me. He tells me he loves me. Something like that. You remember that it's correct to say he said he was my father. He said he was my father. And it's correct to use or to hear or to say he said he is my father. So examples that are like that. You can think of more of them. Good. Here becomes there. This becomes that. Now becomes then. Today becomes that day. Tomorrow becomes the next or following day. Now we'll have examples about them, but please do not get confused. So let's move to that. She said, wait here, wait here. Now in the reported speech, you see that she told me to wait here. Here. Why do I have here, not there? The reason is because I am still here. I mean, I'm in the place here. The place she told me to wait. So I'm still in the place. So I say that is why you see she told me to wait here. But here she told me to wait there, to wait there. Now I mean I'm not in the place. I mean the place she said wait here. I'm in another place. So now I say, or now you see that it is she told me to wait there, the place where she told me to wait. But she told me to wait here. I'm still in the place that she told me to wait. That's why I have the here. But now I'm not in the place. I have left the place. I say she told me to wait there, the place there. He said use this biro, use this biro. Now he told me to use this biro. I mean the biro I point at it is still this I look at it, it is still the biro. So I say this biro. But he told me to use that biro. I mean the biro is not here close to me that I can point at. So the biro is let's say not close to me, or is in another place. So I say she told me to use that biro, but it is still close to me. I point at it, I look at it, I say she told me to use this. She told me to use this biro. So the biro is not close to me. Now I'm changing it. The biro is not close to me, like it is somewhere, or it is in that place. I say she told me to use that biro. That biro. Good. He said, don't sleep now. Don't sleep now. Now, the reported speech. He told me not to sleep now. So it is still now. We are still in the time now, now. But here, he told me not to sleep then. So the time is still not now. That is what I mean. It is not still now. Maybe she said that, like, let's say for example 3 hours ago, something like that. So he told me not to sleep now. Still talking about now, it is still now. But he told me not to sleep then. I mean that time when he said not to sleep now, that time. So I say then. So please do not get confused that why do I have now and again in the reported speech I have now again. This is something that you should be able to understand when you hear. He said, I will visit you today. Visit you today. He told me he would visit me today. I mean it is still today. It is still today. So that is why you see he told me he would visit me today. But if, for example, it is not still today, like now today is gone, it's not today. So I use or I hear he told me he would visit me that day. He would visit me that day. Good. She said, I will come to school tomorrow. I will come to school tomorrow. Of course, she told me she would come to school tomorrow. I mean, it is still today. So tomorrow has not come yet. She told me she would come to school tomorrow. But here she told me she would come to school the next or the following day. I mean, here the tomorrow is already gone. So it is not that it is still today. So the tomorrow is gone. Maybe now it is the day after tomorrow. So I say she told me she would come to school the next or the following day. So you see the tomorrow reported still tomorrow. You saw the difference. Tomorrow becoming the next or following day. You saw the difference too. I hope that you enjoyed the topic and I hope it was interesting. So that's it, I think, about the direct and indirect speech. That's it for now. Until next time.